Boker Tov, Boker Tov. A few more minutes till Dr. Shaheen comes, so we will do another Mishnah where we're up to in Masechet Pesahim Perek Gimel, Mishnah Bet. So the Mishnah talks about back in the day where people would have vessels, and let's say you had a piece of pottery, and this vessel got a little hole in it or a crack. It wasn't like now where you have a cup breaks, so you just throw it out, you just get a new cup. Back in the day, things were expensive. People only had one or two of their things. So they did what they can to save their pot. Probably even some of us here remember patches on pots. I'm not sure if any of the elders remember that, but I don't remember. I just remember hearing about it. Nevertheless, I remember patches on clothing. You rip a clothing, you put a patch. Yeah. Nowadays, it's who has patches? Just get a new pants or whatever, throw it away. Right? Car, throw it away. Everything is exchangeable, right? So back in the day, when there would be a hole in their pot or a crack, they would fill it with dough. They'd fill it with dough, and that would bind it together. So now, exactly, now comes the Pesach. It's a problem. So the Mishnah says, Batzek shebisdikeh areva. Dough that's in the crack of a so here's areva, it's a clear certain vessel. Im yesh kazait b'makom echad chayav lebayer. If there's a kazait of dough in one spot, then even though you used it to block, it's still a kazait of dough, and that is an amount of chametz that we have to make sure not to own. That's why, let's say last time we did the 10 pieces, you make sure that it's less than a kazait in case you lost it. Okay, less than a kazait. In case you lost it, not a big deal. Like crumbs, I think it's less than a kazait. Once you have a kazait together of dough, you have to get rid of it. You have to burn it. Ve'im lo, if it's less than a kazait, batel b'miuto, then it's batel. We say it's secondary to the vessel. It became part of the vessel if it's such a small amount. V'chen le'inyan tum'ah. So too is the laws regarding tum'ah. Back in the day, we're not zocher, we don't have the Beit HaMikdash. But back in the day, they were very vigilant on what they touch. Are you tameh? Are you not tameh? So let's say this vessel was touched by a dead animal. You put it down, you took it off, and realized there was a dead rat there. So it made your vessel tameh. Now, if it made your vessel tameh, but what touched the dead rat was a piece of dough that was used to block your vessel. So, if it's an amount of dough that you don't want there, it's too big, a kazait. If you don't want that to be there in your pot, it happened to be there, you don't want it there, then actually it's considered separate from the vessel, and that was the only thing that touched the dead rodent, and it didn't make your vessel tameh. But if you wanted it there, and they say, therefore, maybe even if it is a kazait, you might have to get rid of it because it's chametz. But regarding the laws of tum'ah, if I wanted it there, so my whole bottom fell out and I filled it with dough, and now it's hard as a rock, and that's part of my vessel. I want it there, so it became part of the vessel, and it touched the dead rodent. The entire vessel is impure. Last point, an interesting terminology: batzek hacheresh, dough that is deaf. What does it mean, dough that is deaf? So the explanation is lo alenu, someone who's deaf, you can't tell that he's deaf. He looks normal, he looks like everything. A person that's blind, you can tell his eyes are closed, maybe he's a walking stick. A person who's deaf, on sight, you can't tell. So too, let's say you have dough that you can't tell. Let's say this dough again is inside a filling of a vessel. You don't know what dough it is. Likely, maybe it's from barley, it's wheat, whatever it is. But let's say this dough, you don't know what it's from. Maybe it's from rice, which is not chametz. Maybe it's from a legume that you use as a sticky, from a bean or something like that. So, batzek acheresh, I don't know where this dough is from. Im yesh kayotze bo sheyichmitz, hareze asur. If there's something similar to it, that you know that this is machmitz, it's chametz, then you could say this one's asur. It looks alike, same type of thing, you could assume it's asur. If not, you don't know, then it is mutar. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen v'amen. Rabbi Chananya ben Akashia omer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את צלפיך חיבה להם תרומתו שנאמר, אדוני חפץ בנציקו, יגדיל תורה וידיר.